Turbo here, and I have a guide to the BF4 beta for you. I'll be covering all the new things that are in the game, including some of the new controls, and I will also be showing you all the weapons and gadgets for each class that you start the beta with, along with some gameplay for each of those too. I'll also be covering the vehicles that are in this beta on the Xbox, with some gameplay footage of each of those as well. So here we go. There's a new way to access Battlelog during the game. Just press the back button and it brings up this screen. You can see all your friends, what they're up to, their tags, what game they're in. You can also join on those friends and invite them as well. Next then, alongside that, you have your missions. I won't go into too much detail on this one, but generally you can just put up missions for like challenges, and just challenges select few of your friends or all of them. They've changed the way that you navigate the spawn screen. You now have all the flags in one section that you use one of the analog sticks with. Then you need to go to whichever spawn you're at and then use the other analog stick to actually choose the vehicles that are at that spawn. Battle packs are in the game. These are basically cases with rewards in them for your progression during rank up or kit progression. They're just a few suitcases with just a few random items in them. These are the ones that you can only unlock certain items through these battle packs. Everything that is unlocked through them is on Battlelog. The spotting mechanics have changed in BF4. You now have to hit the right bumper button to spot people, and if you hold that button you bring up this menu, which BF3 on the PC has had for a while. It's a nice little tool, this one. You don't even need to look at somebody and click on them like you used to have to request something. So click on it, and on the mini-map it then displays what you want. Swimming in BF4 has been changed quite dramatically. You can now do a lot of things while swimming. You can, for example, use your pistol. You can also knife. I haven't actually done any of those knife takedowns yet in the water, but I'm sure they'll probably be great to look at. You can also throw grenades too. And now you can also go underwater, and that is done by clicking your right analog stick down. Whilst you're underwater, you do have an oxygen system, and the longer you're under for, the more you start to hurt. As you see, it took off 20 health per damage. Parachuting has been made easier in BF4. It's a lot more responsive now, and you can actually land where you want to land. And it's easier to move around in the air as well. It also deploys quicker. So let's get on to the weapons and gadgets. First up is the assault class with the AK-12. This is the gun that you start off with all factions. I find this gun pretty accurate. It's nice when you burst fire it. It's got a pretty good long range target acquisition as well. And an alright hip fire. It's not fantastic, but it's not awful either. As you can see, I'm taking down enemies pretty quickly with the gun. It's definitely a good one to start off with. Onto the M320 as part of the assault class. I'd say it's pretty much similar to how it was on BF3, just changed the sound a little bit. All the noob tubes now sound similar. That ploop. Damage seems the same. Yeah, nice effective weapon clearing off walls or killing people with that splash damage. Onto the engineer class now, and the MX4 is what you get to begin with. It's a PDW, so the long range shots are going to be quite difficult to achieve. As you see there, you get a laser sight with it straight away, and it's a nice hip fire gun. Good accuracy, not too much recoil on it. Certainly the short range kills are pretty easy to pick up. Onto the RPG. This is now an all-faction weapon. It can lock on to any enemy vehicle that is being designated, which I will show you later. It can also be fired unguided too.
There's a hostile helicopter west of where you are. Objective Charlie is now under our control. Spotted a hostile tank.
As you can see, it pretty much does the same amount of damage to vehicles as it did in BF3, taking that tank down pretty easily. Support class now, and this is the U100 Mark V LMG. This gun is just awesome. It's great at long range, there's hardly any recoil to it, it's got good hip fire, and it does some massive damage to the enemy too. It's really, I loved playing with this gun. You can see there, not missing that many bullets. Lucky to survive though. Again, burst firing it, and I'm hitting those targets pretty easily. Certainly wouldn't have been able to do that in BF3 with an LMG. Again, that's pretty long range, and I hit him quite easily there with a couple of bullets. So yeah, definitely a great gun.
Here's your ammo, go get it!
You're on the ledge over here.
They got me pinned down! We've just lost objective Alpha.
Onto the gadget now, and the XM25 Airbus. This gun is fun to use. As you can see there, it's like a sniper rifle but with explosive rounds. Nice long distance kill there with it. Onto the ammo bag now, and it's one of these small pouches. It only refills one magazine for one player at a time. You do get the bigger one as you get in further in the game and unlock it. Onto the recon class now, and this is the CSLR sniper rifle. I'm not the best sniper in the world anyway, but it seemed to do a reasonable job getting that guy there. I'm finding it quite difficult to actually get my bullet on target. Sometimes it goes further to the left or to the right than I expected it to. It's got quite good accuracy, not much of a bullet drop on it. Whether that's just the beta physics or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, a good solid base to start off from again. Onto the gadget now, and recon now has C4 again. There's no real difference to BF3 on this one, except I feel that you can be a little bit closer when you explode it without dying. Onto the second gadget now, and we've got the PLD, which replaces the SOFLAM. Does the exact same job, keeps something locked so that anyone can hit them. This is what RPGs can lock onto as well, that we saw earlier in the video. You can see it getting distracted by those flares popping off in different areas. Once those flares are gone, it goes back onto the target. Onto the secondaries now, and this is the P226 handgun. Very good little gun, very accurate, nice rate of fire on it. As you see me take out this guy parachuting now.
Uh-oh. Oh shit.
So you not missed very many bullets there, even for me. Good long range as well. Managed to hit those shots there, and that's quite a good distance for a handgun to hit. So yeah, another good start off gun. Great thing is you can now put sights and other attachments on these guns without having to have specific guns like you did in BF4. Now, and they've changed up the way that you get out of vehicles. You now have to hold the X button to get out rather than just a simple tap. This means you now have to be more careful as to the time and when you get in and out of your vehicles. On to tanks now, my favourite bit. DICE have done a lot of things to change up the gameplay on the tanks. Vehicle dynamic, the disables have changed. You have to get a specific hitbox to actually disable a vehicle completely. Otherwise you just get hit points and you just slow them down more than disable them like you used to. They've also changed the way that the ammo runs on tanks now. Before it used to be unlimited. Now in the bottom right hand corner you have a figure. It says 1 and 3 at the moment. The 3 is the total number of extra shells I have. So you can see it's gone 4 there then. It will reload the main barrel at 1 out of those 4 shells. Once those, there's 3 left now, once those 3 shells are completely gone, I have to wait for that little bar underneath it to recharge, and then I have to wait for the barrel to reload as well. This can take up to about 8 to 10 seconds altogether, so you've got to be really careful with how you use that tank shell and what against. I mean, it's going to mean that you're going to be using your secondary on infantry a lot more now. The guided shell is going to be pretty much non-usable, except for the really big maps. The small maps like this, you're going to need the secondary gun to help take out those infantry. So certainly you'd run out of tank shells way before you get anywhere near where you want to go. So they've also changed the way that the perks work now. You've got 2 separate groups of perks. You've got the driver perks and your passenger perks. So it means that you can have 2 different setups, and then you won't need to keep changing and things like that. If you planned on being a driver, you know, you'd normally have reactive on in BF3, and then you'd hope somebody would put in with the proxy, or if you know, and then if you ended up being a gunner, you wouldn't have proxy because you put reactive on. But this removes that problem now, because you can have proxy as a gunner perk and reactive as a driver perk. So it's much better that way.
That's what it feels like again.
We now control objective Bravo.
The gunner's seat, the 50 cal, has now been given a little bit of a buff. It certainly does a lot more damage to infantry than it used to. It's much better now.
I spotted a hostile tank.
Definitely a lot easier on this one.
I spotted an enemy tank.
The other thing I've noticed as well is that the tank shell now seems to take more of a nosedive into the ground than it used to. It used to be slightly flatter curve. Suddenly the drop on the shell has been changed. Whether that will stay in for the main game, I'm not sure. No, I'm not the only one to have noticed that. Certainly it means that you are raising your barrel a little bit more than usual. It also means I'm missing quite a lot of shots at the moment, especially on helicopters. I've had some right in front of me and I've still missed. Embarrassing. But yeah, it's just getting used to that new dynamic. It doesn't really do anything to me. The other thing I've noticed as well is where you used to be able to head glitch with your barrel, you can't do that anymore. It will literally, you can't put it through objects anymore. They are solid, and you will hit that object rather than hitting the thing that you're firing at. So it means you've got to pull away from walls and things like that a little bit more than what you used to in BF4. And here's that reloading system about to come into play here. Used my last shell about now, and I've got to wait for that bar to fill up before I can even reload my main barrel. Taking on 2 tanks there is obviously going to be a lot more difficult than it used to be with that unlimited ammo. It just means that you're not going to be able to dominate the map so much. Certainly a lot of nerfs done on the tank, and some I'm alright with, other ones they're going to take some getting used to. I certainly feel they've been more harsh on the tanks than they have on other vehicles though. Onto the scout helicopter now. Scout helicopter's been changed up quite a bit. The controls have changed. You now use the left analog stick to go up and down, or to, you know, make it go faster. You now have to use the right trigger to shoot. They've also changed the crosshairs, as you can see in there. There's now no double crosshair. The actual crosshair that moves around is the one that where your guns are going to hit. I find it a lot more maneuverable than it used to be. It's a lot quicker, but I feel that it's too fast. Certainly a lot of trouble with some of the good scout heli pilots that are in the games, really decimating people. The good thing now is for tankers is that the miniguns don't actually do any damage to the tanks. You have to wait to unlock the heavy machine guns on it now to be able to damage the tanks, but they do damage the other vehicles quite badly. It chewed through one of the jeeps, the armoured vehicles. It also chews, as you can see, through other helis quite quickly, as long as you can get it on target. So it didn't take very long there to take that guy down. Chews through infantry as well, much quicker than I feel than it did in BF3. I'm not the best of heli pilots either, so for me to have gone on a couple of kill streaks on it quite easily just goes to show how much easier it is to fly. And that was me there chewing through that armoured vehicle. You see, it's much easier to keep your height down to the fact that you're now using the control stick rather than the trigger. And here's that tank, look, no hit markers, nothing on it. Onto the pickup weapon, M82A3 50 cal sniper rifle, and this thing is a beast. It's a one-shot kill wherever you are on the map. If you hit them in the foot, they die. This thing will kill you as long as they hit you. It also does damage to helicopters. Haven't tried it out on the armoured vehicle yet, but I'm not sure. So I'm not sure whether it does do damage to that. But yeah, this is a pickup only on top of the main tower, the one that collapses. It's got limited ammo, and you cannot refill that ammo once it's all gone. And once the tower has been destroyed and it's collapsed, it also disappears. You will not get it again for the rest of the game. Okay, so let's finish up with some extra changes. First thing up is the change in the scoring system when capturing a flag. You now score points whilst you're capturing it, which is a good change to it. It used to really frustrate me when you accidentally went out of the capturing zone and missed out on those points, even though you'd been in there for most of the time.
We're taking control of objective Charlie.
Next up is the change in the reload system. Now, no matter how many bullets you use, if you reload, you use up a full clip out of that magazine entitlement in the bottom right. So you've got to get used to not reloading after firing a very few bullets. Another new one here was where if you're in the middle of a reload animation and it stops, notice now all I had to do was just cock it into the gun chamber and that was ready to fire rather than going through the whole reload system again. So much better, the side Last but not least is those little side sights that we get, and all you've got to do on that is just press up on the D-pad. Okay guys, that's the end of the video. If there's anything that you think I've forgotten, please do let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video and you thought it was very helpful for you, please like, comment and subscribe to me, and I'll see you next time.